I'm sure most of you have heard the saying, a wise man learns from their mistakes, but a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. Well, I have made quite a few mistakes with money throughout my life, as have many people. And I love listening to the Dave Ramsey Show to learn from other people's financial mistakes so I can apply that to my own life. So I thought it would be beneficial for you all if I share some of my worst money mistakes as a new grad and as a nurse in my career, so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and not make the same ones. So the first big money mistake I made was actually made before my nursing career even started, and that was picking the wrong school to go to nursing school at. I racked up quite a lot of debt going to an out-of-state school for my first year of my nursing degree. And I wasn't even in the nursing program yet. That was just prereqs to get into the nursing program. And even though I obtained my BSN degree for free through my employer, I still had $60,000 of student loan debt just to sit for my RN license. Now, I was determined. I wanted to go to an out-of-state school. I wanted to move away. I wanted to get out of the house. And I could have saved myself a lot of headache and my now husband a lot of headache if I would have just stayed at an in-state school or gone to a local community college. Because let's face it, if you kind of ask anyone in the healthcare field to obtain your RN, it doesn't really matter what school you go to, as long as you actually can get and sit for your RN licensure. Unlike that huge scam that was going on. But it does not matter, maybe for your master's or for your NP, but just to obtain a BSN degree or an associate's degree or a diploma degree to become a nurse, it doesn't really matter where you go. Nobody's looking at that. It really holds no value in giving you the credibility of being a nurse. And if you have crippling debt just to obtain your RN degree, that can affect your personal life and also your professional life. The next money mistake I made was purchasing a new vehicle. And when I say new vehicle, I mean new to me vehicle. This was the first time I ever took a loan out for a car. And although it wasn't that much of a loan, maybe $3,000, $5,000 on that car loan, I could have just paid that in cash. It's such a common thing to see new college graduates, regardless what career field they're in, buying a new car as soon as they get that first real job out of college. I know as Americans, we all care way too much about what others think, and we like to think our car is a status symbol that represents how successful we are. But if you get away from that mindset, it can set you up for the rest of your life. According to Bankrate, the average car payment here in America is $729 a month. Think about that. If you would just continue driving that beater car that you drove in college, instead of buying a new car and instead throw that money into an S&P 500 index fund, you would have over $1.6 million in 30 years. A little delayed gratification can go a long way. And since we're talking about investments, this leads me into my third financial mistake I made as a new grad and new into the nursing career, and that was not maximizing my investments. I was fortunate to pay off my student loans and car payment early, but I did not nearly put as much as I should have into my employer-sponsored 403B. I believe the max I ever did was just up to the match, which in hindsight was kind of pitiful. If I had no debt, I should have been contributing at least 15%, and I probably could have been maximizing it with as little expenses as I had back then. If you could develop the habit of maximizing your TSP right when you start your career and continue until you retire, you would easily have millions of dollars in your retirement account. Compound interest is a phenomenal concept, especially when you start young. And the last money mistake I made as a new nurse was not taking advantage of overtime. I was a 22-year-old new nurse. I was dating my now husband at the time. I was living at home still. I was a dance teacher part-time, but I had ample amounts of time still. I wasn't taking care of a household. I didn't have any children. I do have a little girl now, but I didn't then. So what was taking up all of my time? Nothing. Nothing was taking up all of my time. That would have been a perfect time for me to like stick my nose down and say, all right, here we go. Let me just pick up some overtime and set myself up for the future. If you are young and new into your career, I think it is very wise to pick up some overtime and set yourself up. Some of you may think that some of these weren't even mistakes or out of the ordinary, and I would agree. And these are pretty normal financial decisions that Americans make, but I truly do not think that any of us want to just strive to be average, the average American, struggling with a $729 car loan every single month. I want to steward the money that the Lord has entrusted me to manage well, and that means being financially wise and generous. Hopefully this has been entertaining and you learned something from this video and learned from my own money mistakes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Comment down below if you made any of the same mistakes. I'm sure a lot of you have about student loans. And what is your plan to pay off your student loans? We signed on the line. We said, all right, I will pay these back. So what's your plan? How are you going to set yourself up for success? But other than that, that is it for today's video, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.